divide us right from left, pollute our very hearts, control us through sound and picture, movies, music, art. Fuck us, shush us, judge us, they are not our gods. Disciples burning kingdoms, innocence has fallen. The elders are a bitter, their power is a fading. We can now see straight into their hearts, the madness, the sin, the evil. These are not the ones to represent the people. They have been misguided, therefore they mislead us. If we challenge their positions, they will surely bleed us. A man who sees color and treats difference as a disorder. A man who bleeds brothers and conforms senoritas at the border. He views black men as lab experiments. This vaccine may remove your Holy Spirit, causing one to grow numb and become spiritually lost. Her after effect, she no longer feels a closeness to God. The gift of dependence, rewarded with silence, reworded to express agreeance. Old school lockdown, locked out of new world order. Poor social skills, powerless resistance, hashtag resistance, the Trojan horse. Strangers reside in your homes. Your rights are no longer yours if you can prove them wrong. Eat only what they feed or starve. Sugar-coated comatose, natural elements processed with sedatives. Well-nourished strength becomes malnourishing weakness. Estrogen escalates into a dying masculence, losing grip, reading lips of animals blessed with that sixth sense to see what's becoming. Programming programs now running. Time to hack the hackers, to write untold stories, to censor censorship, to outdance our rhythm, to no longer fall into narratives or weak labels or fit descriptions or be grouped in or boxed in. Escape before you fit in. No longer to be categorized or told who we are by those that don't know us. In God we trust, in thought he speaks, in man I'm wary. Those that have yet to understand will never hear me. No longer conspiracy, no longer theory. Free will shouldn't be felony. Freedom's not the enemy. Begging for change like rappers from the 80s. Begging for assistance like the man who gave up. Begging for vaccines needle like junkies. Begging for change like circus monkeys holding cups. Begging to be left alone, to be let go and re-released into the wild. Today's child learning to live off others and give what they make to others, killing us slowly and pretending to offer salvation as vital resources deplete. We can reverse this, we can uplift. We have not yet fallen. Tomorrow may not be as expected. We are not that easy to domesticate. Those ropes will not hold us back but only extend our journey. You are only forcing us to try a bit harder, to become a bit smarter. We will not be your servant. You were put here to serve us. You don't deserve us. Tiny cameras, observe us. Sit back and enjoy the show. We are not your entertainment. We will not follow your actors and make mockeries of who we are. Psychological warfare works only on those who fell back asleep. One eye open, many begin to see. Oh Lord, 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 Lord.
Living this life is what we try to do. We follow the wrong people when we should follow you. If you are alone and you want to be loved, just do as they say. Do as they say. Do as you're told. Just give them your soul. How easy it was to keep them controlled, to tighten blindfolds, to go down and indulge, to
Revolutions are dead. Paid instigator, demonizer, manipulator, executioner, disguised as proper protester. The so-called resistance, that Trojan horse. The people's voice recorded over, replaced with instructions for an already defeated people. Those that remain happy with their distractions will deem others crazy and applaud foot soldiers as they remove them from their homes until it is them that is being taken away. No longer do slaves break chains, but proudly wear them as souvenirs to always remember that they are no longer themselves, only hired help to representatives reversing reparations and declarations and burning constitutions. And when we want more, they will send us to gift shops to look at birdies and follow the dancing ball. They will tell us stories that never happened, and we will force ourselves to believe them because we don't want to be seen as different.
Caged birds only sing Massa's favorite song.
Those that are scared turn to the news. They listen to well-dressed idiots and dancing fools. These programs are fuel to program these fools. When they talk to you, they are only repeating everything once memorized, blinding their eyes to actual truth, covering their ears, remaining silent. Congress, the criminal syndicate, the subliminal culprit. Transparency? As transparent as a windowless wall of bricks. They laugh at our struggles, failures, and tragedies, and increase their salaries with pennies. We bleed, we are empty, but have learned to fulfill ourselves with things that are not real. And as long as we are tuned in, we will be convinced that we are happy, that we have all we need, although we always want more. We are thirsty, drugged, and unquenched, a mirage. We cough up sand. We have been well trained for lifetimes, and now it's hard to see any differently as we begin to open our eyes. They paint friends and family as enemies, and without unity, we are easy to divide. Population broke into fractions, opposing counter classes, factions, races. We must learn to erase this and no longer deface this history that defines dreams we rarely seek and a morality we even more rarely practice. Cultures overtook by cults, misled by those like Nancy, AOC, Lindsay, Mitch, Cooper, Kimball, and Lester Holt. Foreign URLs found to have changed votes. A people's voice has choked, gagged by swinging ropes and big tech stronghold. And this is only the introduction to a script being rewrote, revisioning history as we live it, toe to toe with the largest cult, under control by masters of the shadows, government, entertainment, elitists, and popes. Saviors aborted, the lawless condoned, martyrs overthrown. When you step outside, what do you see? People. Just people. It's just TV will make them appear differently. Media, the boogeyman. Not in your closet or under your bed, but on your TV, inside of your head. I once knew some good people. They were close. They were friends. Some of them actually had my heart. Then something happened. They began to change. No longer the same. They grew angry. They began to hate me, started thinking slightly differently. They were siding with strangers neither of us had ever met. The way they started repeating what these men said, then telling me that's what they thought in their head, only after verbally being fed. They started wishing death on those they never met. Close friends became strangers I seemed to have never met. People I knew for decades began to disappear. Some walked away, others cursed me. Those that remained now only exist on the other side of this screen. We are weak when we are divided, falling easily for the myth told by manipulators and madmen. Any of you ever knew what it was like to be the sad men behind blonde hair, blue eyes, and white skin became targets to ignorant followers? Propaganda, the pagoda leading them, focused only on the pretty petals of the rose, carelessly grabbed, stabbed by 2-inch thorns along the stem. In palms they dig stigmata-like. What's happening? What happened? What happens next further down this complex vortex where opinion meets fiction, seen as fact by blind men, being told what they see by other men, leading them off cliffs, overlooking lakes during dry season, shallow thinking, fresh pools of blood, love thy fellow man. What the fuck were we thinking? Thoughtless for anyways, left or right leads to the center of nowhere or anywhere but here. I fear we have lost our way home, and strangers are far from being welcomed, and we are replaced by strangers. We, the people,
forgotten, lost spiritually. One nation under God, where many believe they are over him. They have no time to pay no mind to discipline, to law, to principle. We have abandoned what made us, us. We are writing the end to a future before it ever has a chance to begin. We think we know too much. I don't think we know enough. Our ignorance, they desire. We are numb, dumbed down. Programs easily installed in short attention spans are those that have lost their way. Fires will be blown out by God breath. Be forewarned. How many warnings will we get? How many miracles will we witness? How many signs will we see? How many declassified blueprints? How many dreams infiltrated? How many designs will there be? And if they wipe out every single thought from every individual memory, just try to remember to help others see. We, the people. We were the people. We were once people. This building is not a temple. They are not our gods. And this belongs to us. Representatives must represent us. Representatives must represent us. Representatives must represent us. Representatives must represent us.
This is not our temple. Not our temple. They are not our gods. Not our gods. One nation, handing in their freedom for false feeling her safety. Armies, her crisis actors acting up for the camera. Simple minds blind to the true enemy, gonna sell you a false reality through the TV. If you begin to question what it is you see, going to come after you and your entire family. Transparency has caused members of our government to panic. We are making them rich due to our love of our own ignorance. Like moles trapped in rabbit holes, like lost souls stuck in limbo. We become piggy banks for think tanks, getting caught up in blame games, distracted by riots they call parades, until that marching band reaches their front door. Just imagine if the government protected the average American like they do the fellow members of government. This is not what we were ever supposed to be. Never thought I'd see this society serving those that should be serving you and me. Private companies swearing their allegiance to the powers that be, silencing all voices, limiting all choices, shackling weights to all feet, new age slaves to the elite. Propaganda will curb that fighting spirit. Entertainers will distract with song and dance, follow the bouncing ball off the roof, make it seem a suicide, patriotism demonized, anarchy idolized. Then by tomorrow, a new show, another scripted movement, one more dramatic story, and nothing to show for it but more restricted movement. Angels clipping their own wings, mutes believing they can sing, blind men tell me what they see. A society supporting censorship, handing in their freedom for false feeling of safety. I be the anti, whatever you wanna call me. Honky, massa, privileged, cracker, plain old whitey. Why me to blame for the downfall of so-called gods? Assume responsibility.
self-accountability. Don't speak until you remove that mask that silenced you. The fear they placed in you paced you to your living room, got you to stay in place, limit view and paste horse vision through television, programming you. Eco-terrorist and bad actor activists, climate changes and views of true racists. Erase this simplistic bullshit, rise above this drawn out script. Exists as you and not the you they tell you to be. Become the you only you can see. You can kill most disease simply by turning off the TV. I can still remember when we used to disagree in peace before the wrath of red and blue beasts. Democracy, aka thought police, only allowed to speak what they whisper. You will repeat. Truth is a forbidden fruit to get you kicked off, signed off, laid off, exiled in nowhere. No one hears words, only alarms, clocks, bombs, instructions for a new world. Walls closing in closer than ever before. Larger obstacles, locked doors, less love, threats from above, from those from below. No longer in hiding their sin, the new fashion. Skin, blankets, skull, glasses, powerful men burning effigies, but bundles of sticks. Don't scream, don't lie to me, don't try to tell me or sell me. Help me understand man's humility. One nation that hands in their freedom for false feeling of safety to the same elected officials that endanger our species. We are seen as game piece, as primitive beasts they try to tame, train, paint leash around necks of yesterday's victims. What's next but a reprise of yesterday's victims? Back the blue, but only when they back you. Don't walk into that cage they made for you. Don't cry wolf if you are part of the pack. Don't blame sheep if you wear the same wool. Where, what, who, why so many questions if you don't want to hear the answer? Why penalize one who questions trying to tell you the answer? Why serve man and challenge God's word? Rambling in tongue, senseless and absurd. I was born of blood and freedom. I was taught to be who I am, and now I'm told to reverse. But the past is dead, and only in dreams do I time machine to teenage romance and lost adventures and what could have happened if we weren't taught so well to hate each other, to hate ourselves. We gave ourselves to the highest bidder, slave ourselves to bad health. We work harder to support those lazier, and for this we must rebel. One nation handed in freedom for feeling of safety. They gave the illusion of security, but left our vulnerability out in the open for all to see. Our forces grow weak, our words told not to speak, our sight directed by the TV, our thoughts blocked if they disagree, tongues cut out, eyes blindfolded, ears covered, mouths masked, hands cuffed, feet chained, insane, boxed in. One nation be traded in. One nation betraying one's people. What to do when humanity turns their back on you, when society deems you the fool, when girls won't date you, When you've opened your eyes to truth and people are mad at you for looking at it because it's not what they want you to believe in. They'd rather be force-fed daily instructions by alien reports as we are under abduction. Dare not stand in the way and question this new age oppression they set in motion. They are killing us and promising an anecdote already boxed up and prepared for shipment. They want to erase your memory and replace it. They want to replace success with enslavement. Devils lurking so-called savior's shadow. Blue and red pills never meant to be swallowed. Freedom takers and freedom fighters in need of resolution. Only problems twisted bodies of power ever solve are with final solutions. We are living a reprisal of World War II. Antifa brown shirts and Corona COVID typhus like yellow stars. Those that resist the resistance are thrown in institutions. Flocks of sheep accept this. They accept this mask to control what you breathe. Capture spoken dream. Keep words meant for others from reach. Stifle speech. These masks be verbal blindfolds. There are many that see with their mouths, for as they begin to speak, their visions come into existence. And now, what they see, silently imprisoned. Mask mumblers, no one understands each other. Reconstructing Tower of Babel, forgotten Bible. Not many understand what they should. Now, ancient history is being used against them. War criminals abuse Bethlehem. Terrorism exists only when it's convenient. Only reported when it's convenient. But Paris is still burning. If we were to expose every mark of the beast, many of us would be walking paintings of Satan, demons screaming for what we destroy. We are play toys to the men believing they are gods. We master no destiny, only family dog. Our thoughts are not our thoughts, but recordings. We are parakeets that chirp another's absurd ramblings. We speak but no longer understand what we are saying. Watching unplugged televisions, reading wordless books. Our soundtrack is silence. Our world peace is genocidal violence. We fight freedom, strengthen chains. On flags we paint steel bars over stripes. Grand division, unity forgotten, community forgotten. Dead children forgotten, a crackhead remembered. Buildings get Septembered by peaceful arsonists caressing the flames, burning American dreams. From the smoke come revision visions from overseas. Bullies target pacifists. They pacifist to get to women with open hands and beat them. Women beaten by Me Too supporters. News reporters justify disorder only to aim camcorder at her husband fighting back. Those that attack get a free pass. Caught in a field of chess, we are only but the game piece for shadow beasts. Shadownet, maybe more than conspiracy. Reality is not a theory, or is it? Is life hallucination or existence? Disposable to classified blueprints, top secrets, but can you hear it? Can you hear the whispers? Can you feel the serpent slither? Oily, oozy words off forked tongues into your minds that control your lungs. Make it seem a suicide, make it seem a COVID case. Make another cold case, grab another cold one, son, and learn not to question online schooling. Many failing social skills, messages drilled in honor students forbidden to ask questions, told to answer questions already solved by biased networks, re-illustrating facts, remolded with feelings, reworded by agendas. Tech giants terrorize small isolated rural towns, dumbing down their populations with proper propaganda to be argued at Sunday night dinner tables. Destroying families is what the godless do best. The compassion for strangers, replacing connection with loved ones. Society becomes the stalker that falls for the actress, the prepubescent girl that drools over the poster of a manufactured teen icon. False idols and a truth exiled and a job lost and another soul bought. Caught by the mangled web weaved out of desperation. Obtained belief through manipulation. Fear of annihilation. We no longer to fight back but fall back. Watch it all collapse. Watch self-enslaved slaves laugh at disasters and attack comedians and attack anyone or anything they are trained to. Learning institutions become blueprints for Satan's army. Time to fight behind the armory of God as the sinners we are, making our beds in repentance as we tend to our own backyard, keeping the strays out. Everything that should be changed is business as usual for the average idiot shouting from scripts within herds of human cattle controlled by the true oppressor. And if you think this is about color, you better adjust the contrast to see the dead skin she slides out of, the shadow of a weak man she feeds off of. Like succubus, this story is writing itself. I am only one instrument and no author. I challenge no God but the man that believes he knows her. From caves, we made mangers, blind by purified consciousness, only seen through a mortal's eyes, blind to the speed of light, unable to truly dissect every frame from our retinas. Our eyes are pupils studying life. We are no teacher, we are only students grouped together in class projects, far from God's kingdom. Your glass house mansions mean nothing if your words mean nothing. If you sing senseless songs and try to sound profound through interviews, you speak of subjects you were a slave to. Your auto-tune is untuned. Your truth is untruth. Puppets should cut their strings if they are a part of a children's puppet show. For these kids are the last ones you should ever lie to. The last ones you should ever abuse. Phoenix, rising, over, bullshit.
We are the people that contributed to charities for sick children and your deceased family members. We are the people that gave a couple dollars to struggling mothers to help their families receive that next meal. Who found wallets, then found their owners, that found we took nothing. We provided space to let you into bumper afternoon traffic. We once stood up for you to bullies cornering you in schoolyards laughing at your fear. We stood up for you when that last customer was giving you a hard time. We have pulled abusive husbands off of their wives. We have stood up to those that oppose your rights. We have been painted as savages as we fought against actual savages trying to set fire to low-income tenements. We have been seen as racist and bigots, although we stand side by side, brown, black, and white. We have been looked at as Nazis as we conflicted with their very own ideology. We have spoke of unity, and sadly you label us the enemy and feed the divide. Those like us who have expressed different beliefs have been ridiculed, doxed, and demonized, and at times have even lost our lives. We are said to be the problem. We are said to be the perpetrator, the instigator, the violator. We have taken a stand as others took the knee and evolved back into submissive loyalists to corporate masters, profiting off of pain and using it to sell domestic war between its citizens. As a sickness filled the air, they separated, then brought people back together, but their plans for depopulation did not work. Once they saw our vitality, they provoked it racially. As they began to turn up the heat by hitting us economically, they removed us from our routines, glued us to the TV, and began to preach untrue sermons to a sheep without a master.
Guess any shepherd would do.
Dear God, this herd was led away from you through fears of mortality and current social status. They found ways to trick us into oppressions and fix elections, and sadly, we were told by our gods on TV to dare not question as we began to speak and understand and peel back the surface, here came the censorship. Senseless shit to cover it before we discovered it. Today, I turned on the TV only to see our new falsely elected leader crying like a little bitch. I ask, what the fuckity fuck is this? Another violation of a term of service. They have found a way to privatize the First Amendment. Your first mistake was closing your eyes outside, listening to the TV inside, and covering your mouth with a fabric mask after they convinced you the sky was falling.
Riddle. Chicken. Little.
Protests work best with sponsors, corporations enslaving our nations, all in uniform, no longer the commodity. Conformed and misinformed, we be the consumers of malevolent imaginations, making up lies about presidents, making up reasons to hate each other, then making up excuses for doing so. We are not enemies, we are not devils, we are those that bleed, that chose to lead. Can't be misled when you're self-led. America, God bless, under this global nightmare. Don't allow the hurt and despair to get into your head. We are not the boogeymen, but the ones who turn the lights on to show them to you. Stop! The real monsters are wrapped in well-dressed suits, sitting at news desk, reading bedtime stories to desperate citizens in need of rest, vulnerable and depressed. These monsters provide instructions on what and who to accept or reject. For the last 12 years, we have been turned against each other. Idiots forget, but wise men remember. You showed us who you were. We are who we've always been. Women and men, civilly disobedient, just trying to live among the likes of those that display bumper stickers reading love, coexist, equality, togetherness. And it seems they don't believe in any of it. This is dedicated to every deplorable, degenerate, dreg of society, Trumpster, to every individual that stood on their feet and bowed to no one but one, as others bent the knee for those lesser than them. This is dedicated to men trying to find peace as others live off a deranged hate. This is for the people that can watch TV and understand when they are being lied to. This is for all people of all ages, of all races, of all colors, especially red, white, and blue. People, you are being lied to. Cut the strings you are attached to. To those of the resistance, I refuse. They want to divide me from you. They will come as your friends and misinform you about who we are. Do not allow them to employ you as foot soldiers to fight against what we are all supposed to stand for. To all leaders, I demand more. More than silencing a people's voice. More than government-sponsored domestic terror. More than phony witch hunts and the doxing of good men and women. More than targets placed upon skin for...
We are the people.
We are the people that have helped others that still spit on us when all talk politicians failed to do so. They that are said to represent the people have done nothing but use our finance to fund Mueller reports, drawn out right-left conflicts, personal vendettas, and grudges. Judges have dishonored their oath and bastardized their courts. Evidence has come to light, and a bitter man and aging alcoholic have cut the power of the same people they supposedly fight for. Rather fight imaginary wars than provide actual help to uplift the poor. We fought against loyalists centuries before, and now patriots are trading in their Bibles for movie adaptions, their flags for face masks, and their pride for easier ways out, training their offspring not to talk, only to obey. And I pray that today they will break their code of silence and ask the questions no one wants to answer. Let this be the day we end compliance. Signed,
The people.
Everybody
Stop, children, what's that sound? Everybody knows what's going down. Stop, children, what's that sound? Everybody knows.